Hello, Wu Jiao here. It's Saturday, April 3rd, 2021. For those of you who are regular viewers of my channel, which there's obviously very few, most of my videos have been very light. Try to be a little funny. I'm not that good at it. I'm still trying to find something to focus on with my videos, so I haven't done that yet, but today I'm going to make something a little different. I'm going to make a video in response to someone else's video, and this one's a little bit more serious. They say there's something like 300 hours, I think, of video uploaded to YouTube every minute, if that's possible, I guess, if they say it is. I've got a cough candy in my mouth. Sorry about that. I think the most vile and egregious of the 300 hours for that minute, and maybe for the whole day today, have to be this video. It's Communist China uses cancel culture against you by SsssSerpentZA. I don't know if you can see that there. Probably can't. I'm going to run the video on my iPad here, and then stop it every once in a while and try to give my view or give a different view. So here we go.
The Chinese Communist Party has hijacked the Stop Asian Hate movement and is trying to use it to silence criticism of its bad actions. Get ready for some hard truths here, everybody.
Get ready for some hard truths here, everybody. The guy that uses a VCR is going to try to convince you that he is current and up to date with the current situation in China. By the way, how do you like my green screen compared to his green screen?
Nobody likes to talk about this kind of thing. Any kind of hate crime is abhorrent, and it's something that we should all strive to work against. Any kind of racial discrimination and hatred towards anyone of any race, creed, or color is something that should never be a thing.
We found something to agree on.
Having grown up in South Africa, racism, xenophobia, and hatred towards people because of the color of their skin is something that I'm quite familiar with.
I believe we will find, even in this video, that you are in fact racist.
The fact is, to try and use something like an anti-racism movement for your own political agenda is disgusting, and I've been seeing this a lot with what's been going on with the Stop Asian Hate movement in America.
Yeah, you say that as you're about to use it to further your own political interests.
And more specifically, how the Chinese Communist Party is using it to their benefit.
Okay. Sounds like twisted logic, but let's hear it.
I might upset a couple of people here because I'm speaking in facts, and unfortunately facts don't always line up with people's ideas of what's going on.
I'm listening.
But I have been giving these anti-Asian attacks a very close look over the past couple of weeks. I've been going through them on a case-by-case basis and trying to find out what the motivations behind these attacks are. And what I've been discovering so far is something completely different to the mainstream narrative and to what most people think.
Most people know, not think, that anti-China rhetoric has been rampant.
You see, the news, especially here in America, loves to focus on the negative stuff, loves to run with narratives. And every time you look at the news, you always see this, the poor grandmother that was hit in the face with swollen eyes and this terrible thing that happened to her and how she raised money and she's so generous to give it back. And I love that about that person.
So this anti-Asian rhetoric, beginning with anti-China rhetoric, is causing abuse and attacks on Asian people.
But there seems to be a hyper-focus on that person. There's also a massive hyper-focus on the Atlanta shooter, as if the Atlanta shooter is a racially based thing, which that's up in the air.
You claim it's up in the air, but I'm sure that you're about to spout some racist, biased opinion.
I got to tell you one thing. If it was a racially motivated attack, I'm pretty sure he would have said so.
Wouldn't that be admitting to a hate crime? I don't think that his lawyer would probably recommend that.
because when people feel that amount of hatred towards a specific race or a specific group of person, that's kind of their mantra, that's their manifesto.
Oh, you're an expert on this one. Your manifesto is on display every week.
And when they go ahead and kill people from that race, let's say, and they're caught, you bet your bottom dollar they're going to say that they're glad they did it and these were the reasons they did it, because of COVID or because of this or because of the unfair job thing, or there'll be something that they focus on. But, you know, the guy had a weird religious, sexual, disgusting, weird thing that happened to, whatever. The guy's a piece of shit. I'm not here to debate whether that was a racial or not.
You're obviously not here to debate. You've already claimed that it isn't.
But from what I've been looking from a clinical outward look at that particular case, it doesn't seem to be racially motivated. It's more just a kooky, weird, disgusting person who has a problem and a mental issue, and that's why it happened.
Wait, let's see if you try to push a narrative.
Anyway, that's besides the point.
That's besides the point. That's an egregious thing to say.
These are the hyper-focused ones. But why are we not seeing more?
We don't see that more because the mainstream media is trending towards promoting anti-China hate.
You know, why do we not see more about the other people that have been attacked? Because there have been some terrible attacks against Asian people in the United States and elsewhere, but we're talking about the United States mainly. And when I look up each individual case, I think it's fairly clear.
Fairly clear? What is?
Unfortunately, statistics don't lie. If we look at New York, which seems to be a hub for these attacks, of course, San Francisco too, places where there are a large Asian diaspora. Of the 20 people arrested,
only 20 arrested, but the abuse is widespread and usually worse amongst children, especially on schoolyards.
In connection to these hate crimes, only 2 of them were white.
So you're trying to say that if they weren't white, it's not anti-Asian hate? What a racist thing to say.
The rest of them were black or Latino. And this is something that doesn't seem to be spoken about a lot. And I understand why, because it's a sensitive issue. People are trying to always push racism on white people. And if it's a different group of people that are perpetuating these hate crime attacks, these racially motivated attacks. And
I thought you said they weren't racially motivated.
They're not white. It doesn't fit the narrative. And that's why it's either hushed up or not focused on.
Contradict yourself much?
This is something that I'm going to look into even further, and I'll be talking about at length in the future.
Oh, white South African guy says that he's going to look even further into racially motivated attacks. Is it a hobby?
You see, the CCP and other pro-CCP sycophants, people that are trying to push the narrative of China, are jumping on this, and they are using this whole anti-Asian hate crime thing in order to silence criticism by attacking the West.
Okay, wait. CCP and CCP sycophants, aka Chinese people, are jumping on this to use this to hide anti-China hate, anti-China rhetoric.
They love that this is happening because it's such a useful tool to them.
You say that they love Asians are being attacked so that they can silence anti-China rhetoric.
And as disgusting as that is, to use a horrible situation like this as a tool, this is something that the CCP is very good at and has been doing for a very long time.
What are you talking about? A lot of what's going on was fermented by Trump. You don't make sense.
Now, riddle me this. Why, if you were to go to an anti-Asian hate protest, and your whole thing is you are against anti-Asian hate, and you get someone who maybe doesn't agree with you 100%, but they also are against anti-Asian hate, why would you try and censor them?
Riddle me this. Why wouldn't a rally against anti-Asian hate want to stop an anti-China slogan or guy that wants to get up on the stage and speak anti-China? Why would they want to stop that? Let me think about it.
This is what's happening in this video. This guy's placard says, hold the CCP liable, stop Asian hate. Yeah, maybe you don't agree with him. Maybe you don't agree that the CCP's got anything to do with it. But let's be honest, Uyghurs are Asian. Hong Kongese are Asian, Taiwanese people are Asian, Vietnamese people are Asian, all the different places, the Philippines, everywhere around China where China is like really trying to push and muscle people around and stuff. We're talking about a lot of Asians here. I mean, in the UK, we call Indian people Asian as well. So, you know, they're all their little clashes, whatever.
So because many places are Asian, anti-China rhetoric should be okay? Is that what you're saying?
It ties in, and you still have the same message. I want to stop anti-Asian hatred. But why is that person being censored?
Anti-China rhetoric is the main source. Other people may be mistaken for Chinese. Don't you think that's somehow related?
The only reason that person is being censored is because the people there, including the security guy here, who is apparently one of the organizers, the only reason they would block a message that says the CCP, but still has the same core message of Stop Asian Hate, the only reason they would do that is because they themselves are the CCP, or they are affiliated with the CCP, or they support the CCP 100%.
So if you stand up for China, aka Chinese people, it automatically means that you're CCP?
There is also a lot of evidence coming to light that a lot of these organized protests are actually being set up by the CCP and people connected to the CCP. I mean, take a look at what happened in New Zealand, in Auckland. We've got a big protest there, but it turns out that a lot of CCP-connected people were part of the organizers.
You have a flag. You're CCP. Hell.
One of the organizers of the anti-discrimination Asian protests was a United Front member and a chairman of the Chinese Postgraduate Society. You know, these are people that are responsible or answer directly to Beijing.
Oh, Chinese Postgraduate Society. Ooh, sounds pretty evil to me.
The Chinese Masters and PhD Student Association was part of the whole organization, and they, of course, are supported by the Chinese consulate.
Oh, proof positive. A tweet you post from some unknown person on the internet. Is this your proof and statistics?
The Chinese United Front is also been tied to organizing these things. Now, you might ask yourself, what's wrong with that? Why shouldn't a country take an interest in putting an end to racist attacks against their citizens abroad? I think that's absolutely fine.
Nobody asked you. You're not an authority. You're only an influencer, and a negative one at that.
There's no reason why a country shouldn't do that. I'm all for it. If you see Americans being attacked in China or being discriminated against, the American consulate should get involved and try to educate people and try to organize protests. Although you can't organize protests in China, that's not possible. But, you know, I have nothing wrong with that.
So you just insinuated something against China that you say you would be all in for if it was the U.S. Contradict yourself much?
But there's something underhanded going on here, and I can give you the perfect example.
Oh, this ought to be good.
You see, the Daily Mail, which is another pro-CCP website news organization, they released a fake Facebook post by the Atlanta shooter.
Whoever made that post was wrong. Not someone that made a screenshot of it. Duh.
So we know there's this crazy Atlanta shooter guy who went out and killed not only Asian people, but white people too. And it's kind of infuriating to me that people just think it's Asians only. This guy's a disgusting person, killed not only Asian, he killed people. He killed white people, Asian people, it doesn't matter, he killed people.
Racist statement in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I hate that people make it into this political race thing because evidently it's not. But the fact of the matter is, whether it is or not,
You've already claimed that it isn't.
you've got the psycho guy who killed a whole bunch of people, including 6 Asian people. So, this pro-CCP weird newspaper releases this fake Facebook post.
Both of the sex scandals that, for Chinese officials that you claimed and made videos about are backed up by Breitbart News. That's where those stories came from. There's your source.
And in this fake Facebook post, he is spouting anti-CCP rhetoric, saying, oh, the Chinese government must answer for COVID, etc., taking our jobs. You know, the usual kind of nonsense.
So someone else hates China enough to make a fake post.
And here we see their intentions laid bare.
Huh? Intentions laid bare?
The Chinese government and the Chinese CCP sycophants want people to believe that criticism of the Chinese government is connected to murdering Chinese or Asian people.
Oh, now the CCP is setting up anti-Asian hate rallies. Okay. I thought you said they liked hatred towards Asians so that they could hide their anti-China rhetoric. Now they're setting up events against it. Wow, you have a really active imagination.
You know, that's their end goal. They want people to self-censor, or they want other people to censor people that have criticized the CCP or are criticizing the CCP, this tyrannical government. And I'm proof of that.
Oh, and now you're going to say China organizes hate towards you. You don't really need any help with that. You got that covered.
Because as soon as this fake Facebook post was released, people jumped on it. Okay, a website that's set up in my honor, it's like a hate website. They, in fact, went as far as to say, I have blood on my hands, and they used this fake Facebook post as an example.
Do you mean that you don't believe anti-China rhetoric is connected when you criticize the Chinese government? When you criticize the Chinese government, you criticize China, period.
Now, yes, I am critical of the CCP, and I am unashamedly critical of the CCP. I think they're a terrible government.
As a foreigner, not even in China, it promotes hate. There's no other use.
And you can watch my videos. I criticize a lot of the policies, a lot of the societal issues in China.
A foreigner spouting off from a foreign land. That's spineless hate.
I criticize the CCP point blank, straightforward. You know, my recent video about housing bubble, for instance, I talk about how things work in China. I do not condone attacks against Asian people.
You don't condone them. You just contribute to them.
I do not condone any sort of racial attacks against anyone. However...
Okay, wait a minute. This ought to be good.
My experience living in China for 14 years.
I know you want your viewers to think you're some kind of China expert. You've been here before. That's why you keep repeating that almost every video. Oh, I've been here 14 years. I've been there 14 years. You left a couple years ago now.
The fact that I went out and explored the entire country, I filmed a lot of things. I have a lot of video evidence. I have a lot of anecdotal evidence. I have a lot of experiences, things I've seen with my own eyes.
Oh, we're still waiting for those statistics and facts. Haven't seen them.
This is worrying to a lot of the pro-CCP guys because it goes against the fake facade that the CCP puts out there. People like me are seen as very dangerous to the CCP because the truth is the enemy of the CCP.
They have better things to do than to even watch your videos or have anything to do with you. They don't even know about you. They could care less about you.
So what do they want to do? They want to shut people like me down. They want to shut down anyone who is critical of the CCP. So articles like this come out on this website.
People like you are not even on the CCP radar.
That I have blood on my hands. And then they use this fake Facebook post of this Atlanta shooter as an example and basically say, look, the kind of things he's saying, he must have got it from people like me.
There's a pretty good chance he's probably one of your subscribers. Maybe not anymore.
And so I'm responsible, which of course is a bunch of malarkey and it's absolute nonsense.
You are not responsible, but you contributed and you know it.
Not only that, scumbags, sycophants on Twitter, etc. There's this one guy who's an absolute obsessed cyberstalker who follows everything that I do, watches every single one of my videos over and over and over again, trying to find any little thing that he can use as ammunition.
I think you should reflect on your contribution to the conversation.
This guy ran with this article, put my full name.
Your full name? You use your full name on your Twitter handle. So what's that? That's the first thing that pops up if you Google Winston Sterzel.
And, you know, my business partner C-Milk's full name out there and compared us to the murderer. And this absolute scumbag went out there with a huge audience to put this out there to basically say that I and my buddy Seamilk are responsible for the deaths of the people in Atlanta.
Not responsible. Agree. Contributor? Yes.
Now, this is cancel culture, of course. This is a very straightforward. They want to shut me down. They want to shut down my friend Seamilk. They want to shut down news journalists. They want to shut down anyone who dares to speak the truth or speak against power, speak against the CCP. And that's how we can circle back to how the CCP has co-opted this Stop Asian Hate movement.
Circle back? Try to follow your twisted language, you mean?
They have realized the power that lies in the West's cancel culture, and they are trying their absolute best to leverage it and use it to silence people like me and others.
Now the CCP is doing cancel culture too? Oh, come on.
That is why it is so important that you are here watching this video. Your
Yeah, send me your money if you want more hate.
support means absolutely everything, because unlike the sycophants and unlike these organizers, I'm not backed by the Chinese government. I don't have a government or an organization who's boosting me, paying me, or anything like that. It's you who watch these videos that keep me going. Thank you for that.
Oh, didn't Falun Gong pay you for those China Uncensored interviews? They were pretty long. I would think that they probably paid you.
These tragic attacks against people of Asian ethnicity are not to be used as a political tool for anyone.
Let me recap. You say China likes attacks on Asians. Then China organizes rallies against the hate on Asians. Okay?
They're a terrible thing which need to be addressed, and they will be addressed.
Agree. Hopefully. But it won't stop.
The people that are doing this are being held to account. They are being arrested. They will be dealt with by the law.
Hopefully. But it won't stop schoolyard racism, abuse, hatred.
Don't let the CCP use our freedoms against us.
Wait, what? Let the CCP use your freedoms against you? Okay.
Don't let the CCP censor you. Don't let the CCP censor anybody.
CCP censor who? I think that's the funniest line of your whole video so far.
The Chinese government is not Asians.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's a better one. Okay, let me write this down. The Chinese government are not Asians.
The Chinese government does not speak for a race of people. The Chinese government is not the Chinese people.
That's really rich. The Chinese government is not the Chinese people.
Until next time, guys, you know the drill. As always, stay awesome.
Opening and closing with a VCR clip fits right in with your logic. Now I see why you kept it. Anyway, if you, he's probably never going to see this. If anybody else even watched to the end, thank you very much. I appreciate you watching. Take one last little look around, and I'll cut this off. Again, thanks for watching. See you.